It's been a while since I did my video on prompt engineering as a career path, so in this video we will be looking at some new job listings I never seen before related to this career, and we'll be looking at some new media articles talking about this topic, and some clips where people are talking about prompt engineering as a career. Let's just get started. Let's start by looking at some job listings. If you remember my previous video on this topic, I think I found about 2 different job listings. Now this has really taken off, so I found 19 here and I found a bunch of other on other sites. Let's start by, as you can see here, there are tons of jobs here. Let's take a look at this job from JoBot. This is a fully remote job as a prompt engineer. So let's take a look here. We are seeking a highly skilled and experienced prompt engineer to join our dynamic team in the tech industry, okay? The responsibilities are design and develop prompt solution to improve system performance and reliability. That's interesting. Develop and maintain prompt testing. Conduct prompt analysis. If you are highly skilled and motivated prompt engineer with a passion for tech and desire to make a difference, we encourage you to apply for this exciting opportunity. It doesn't say anything about pay here, but you need a bachelor's degree in computer science, engineering, or a related field, so there's no requirement. 3+ years of experience in prompt development. That's kind of hard, isn't it? You want to be strong in prompt scripting languages such as Bash and Python. Speaking of Python, this is a perfect segue to today's sponsor, Brilliant. As anyone in the tech world knows, if you're not staying ahead while building new skills, you are falling behind. And what do the world's most successful and productive people all have in common? They learn something new every day. And if you think that sounds too hard or too time consuming or just too overwhelming, then you haven't tried brilliant.org. The skills you learn to build your career aren't the skills you need to stay ahead tomorrow. AI isn't the future, it's here now. Here you can see me learning about quantum computing in a fun and interactive way. Brilliant makes this daunting subject fun and hands-on. I also really recommend Brilliant's introduction to Python. This is a very important skill if you want to dive deeper into prompt engineering. So, to try everything Brilliant has to offer free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/allaboutai or click the link in the description. The first 200 of you will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription, and thanks to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. This is a more developed job. This is the AI product engineer. So you can see this has some requirements. So what you will do, develop prompt chains, integrate AI platforms. So you can see we're going to experiment with the latest technology advances, understand how they can be leveraged into the product. You are ideal for this role if you have curiosity or love for new tech, right? Experience hacking with GPT-4 codecs or other LLMs, that's interesting. Comfortable with coding in Python, yeah, that's smart. Interested in prompt engineering and vector databases. So this is a very high paying job, $134,000 to $202,000 a year. Let's take a look at another one here. I just found this very interesting. So this is a GPT prompt engineering position. Again, it's 100% remote. We are looking for an expert LLM prompt engineer with exceptional ability to talk to models of the GPT family. ChatGPT, GPT-3, 4, right? Who are they looking for here? We are looking for you if you're absolutely obsessed with LLMs, especially if you're captivated by the GPT language models and you spend every waking hour pushing GPT to its limits and using it to automate real-world tasks. We're looking for a hacker, someone who enjoys breaking system to their advantage. This was quite a fun job listing, I think. Let's have a look at the last job listing here. So this is prompt engineer consultant. I have not seen that title before, so let's take a look here. We are seeking an experienced prompt engineer to join our team to take responsibility of designing high quality prompts for our ChatGPT language model. Okay? So the key responsibilities here is design and develop high quality prompts to enhance the performance of our ChatGPT language model. This requires a bachelor, 5 years of experience, strong programming skills with expertise in Python scripting. So these are quite high requirements, and I expect this job to be quite high paying. Let's take a look at this sentence here. So design and develop high quality prompts that enhance the performance of our ChatGPT model. This is related to the next clip I want to show you now from Wolfram. So let's have a look at it and discuss after.
To be the case. The other thing that's just totally bizarre is the whole business of prompt engineering, of being able to say, things like if you look at the prompt for the Wolfram plugin, it's we've been steadily adapting it, but it's full of, we put please into the sentence, and that makes a difference. We put,
wild,
don't do this, do that, don't do this. Here are examples of what you should do. The fact that any of this stuff works is really remarkable. And I think the sort of theoretical description of how the neural net works, we're pretty far away from being able to say, given that theoretical description, this is how you should put commas into your prompt or whatever. That's a big distance at this point. At this point, prompt engineering is kind of a bit like animal wrangling, I think. It's kind of like you don't really know, is this animal, and it's flapping around, and it turns out if you pull on its ear, it will do this. And we don't really know.
If you're trying to get this Mustang and you're trying to tame it, yeah, be careful. But yeah, walking up to it quietly and like we're taking steps and just trying to get the Mustang and corral it and get it to put a saddle on it. Maybe it's going to work, maybe it's not. It's pretty amazing.
So what Steven said there is why I think these prompt engineering jobs can be very important, at least now in the early stage of developing these language models and the tech around it. Because if the input can affect the output as much as he said, and I'm pretty sure he was serious when he said that, I think this can be very important and can make your company stand out over others. And then you can become a very high valued member of your team, right? The more value you are to the company, the more pay you will get to. So it's very interesting. I'm gonna keep monitoring this space, and I'm gonna see if the number of postings keep increasing. Now let's move on to another clip I wanted to show you. I also just recently saw this article here on CBS News. Want to work in AI? These jobs pay 6 figures. This article talks about the hot new programming language that is English, right? So this is basically an article about prompt engineering as a job. So let's take a look at a few quotes here. The context here is, to be sure, any job related to an AI chatbot requires some familiarity and understanding of how LLMs work. So he quotes, they have to understand how to code, leverage AI models, and understand how to talk to them. So they're expected to see a raft of new AI jobs. Some people underestimate what it takes, but these are front engineers getting hired for hefty salaries. I think it's a skill that's going to be super important for everyone, and I would highly encourage everybody who is not a data scientist to play around with these models. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think that's on point. We don't really know what's gonna happen, but if you are looking for something new, I think this is a blank sheet you can try to take advantage of. We also had this tweet from Sam Altman this year. Writing a really good prompt for a chatbot persona is an amazing high leverage skill, and it's an early example of programming in a little bit of natural language. Yes, I agree with this. Again, we are getting some hints that this can be a skill that people can be hired for. We also had this that's talking about who can be a prompt engineer. It says anyone who knows how language works can be a prompt engineer. Prompt engineers don't create software code. Instead, they use plain English to elect the best answers from an AI model and then figure out how it works. Interesting. I think I want to end this video with a clip from David Sachs on the All In podcast talking about prompt engineering and how he is adapting to using ChatGPT and GPT-4 in his work.
About that, I think there's 2 questions. One is, can you prompt GPT in the right way to get the answer you want? And I think, Chamath, you shared a really interesting video showing that people are developing some skills around knowing how to ask GPT questions in the right way. Exact prompt engineering. Why? Because GPT is a command line interface. So if you ask GPT a simple question about what's the best restaurant in, Napa, it knows how to answer that. But there are much more complicated questions that you kind of need to know how to prompt it in the right way. So it's not clear to me that a command line interface is the best way of doing that. I could imagine apps developing that create more of like a GUI. So we're an investor, for example, in Copy AI, which has been doing this for copywriters and marketers, helping them write blog posts and emails. And so, imagine putting that GUI on top of ChatGPT. They've already been kind of doing this.
I don't know if you saw it, but David Sachs wrote a blog post with ChatGPT. It's an amazing back and forth. I read this back and forth. Explain what you did, Sachs. This was really like one of the best conversations I've seen with ChatGPT. I'll pop it up here on the screen, but explain what you did.
Well, I had an idea for a blog post about the use of a, I guess, tactic you could call give to get. I started by going into ChatGPT and I said, hey, have you heard of Jigsaw? And then it had. And then I said, tell me about its give to get, approach. And then I said, would this approach work for AI startups that want proprietary training data sets? And it said, yes, this is a good idea. And then I gave the architect example and I said, can you give me more examples like this? And it gave me like 20 more examples. And then I asked it just to flesh out various kinds of details. I went down some cul-de-sacs I didn't use. And then at the end, I said, can you summarize everything we've just talked about in a blog post? And it gave me the first draft of a blog post. I then did a substantial amount of editing on most of the blog post, although some of it I just used verbatim. And then I had a couple of people in my firm look at it. They made some good suggestions. So it's not like the human's completely out of the loop. And then I copy and pasted my edited version back into ChatGPT, said, here's my edit. And then I asked for some suggestions. It made a few small edits. And I said, okay, great, just incorporate the edits yourself, gave me that final output. And then I posted on Substack. A blog that probably would have taken me a week to research and write, if I had done it at all, I was able to do in a day. And I can't see myself going back now. I think this is just how I'm going to write all my blog posts is use ChatGPT as my researcher, as a writing partner, some cases an editor, but I'm definitely going to run it through.
The thing that I was struck by was you were super kind to the AI.
Because it's not a person, it was a robot.
Oh, no.
Well, just in case it takes over the world, JCal, you can't be too careful. But no, I think, listen, it's important to give the AI.
Look at, he's so kind. He's like, perfect.
Look,
Thanks.
perfect. Thanks.
No,
Exclamation mark.
I've never once gotten a thanks from Seth.